Hi, friend. Well, if you're anything like me, when you get overwhelmed, you want everyone to just get out of the way. At first, it can feel like slight annoyance or self-importance, like, come on, just let me do what I need to do. But underneath that urgent, self-important energy is often complete overwhelm. You're just trying to get through the day. And sometimes you might be totally exhausted. Sometimes you might feel like crying. Sometimes your nervous system is simply stuck in this anxious or overwhelmed state because of all of the stimulus. And I get it. Sometimes life can feel like you're standing on one leg while juggling every other area of your life, and you're just trying so hard not to drop any of the balls. Your health, your responsibilities, finances, family, relationships, grief, mental load, your changing body, your future. You are carrying a lot, and stress doesn't just affect the mind, it affects the entire body. Chronic stress can impact sleep, digestion, hormones, inflammation, memory, mood, energy, focus, healing, emotional regulation. It's like driving a car without oil. You can do it for a little bit, but you're going to destroy your vehicle. And we want our vehicles to last a long time. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 simple evidence-based practices to help you regulate your nervous system and to bring the body back into a calm, safe state, a more grounded state, a place called homeostasis, where everything functions the way it's supposed to. Now, I can't claim that this will magically take away all of your overwhelm and stress. But what I can say is that if you practice these practices, regulating the nervous system, the more we stay in a regulated state, the better you will feel in your life. The better your body is going to function. It will allow you to think more clearly, to react less impulsively, to breathe better, to make better decisions, to be better at problem solving, to feel more steady in your body and in your life, and to be more connected to yourself and to others, to feel like yourself again. And let's face it, adulting is not easy, right? And our nervous systems can get stuck in that fight or flight gear, in that high stress gear. But you can actually remove the stressor, and your body will be so conditioned to living in a stressed out state that it is going to seek stressors. It will blame something else for the state that you're feeling. But that's because our nervous system is actually stuck in that gear. And we don't want to live in this anxious, overwhelmed state. It's not a healthy place to live. So learning to regulate your nervous system is a vital skill. We practice learning how to stay steady in life. You're basically training yourself. You're training the body and the mind to say, I am going to live in homeostasis more often. When we're dysregulated, we're actually living in automatic pilot. But when we slow down enough to notice our reactions, we can create enough space to choose differently. And honestly, 10 minutes a day, practice consistently over time, can absolutely change your life because you will be making different choices because you're giving yourself that space. I recommend going through this whole video and doing these practices all at once, and then coming back to individual practices and techniques throughout your day as you need them. And the beautiful thing is you don't need anything special. You have everything that you need. You have all the tools. You have your body, you have your breath, you have your awareness, and you have your willingness to do the practice. So first, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving yourself these few minutes to practice these life-changing skills. All right, so first, feel your feet on the floor. Let's take a slow breath in and a big sigh out. You can be sitting down or standing, okay? So whatever's more comfortable for you. I am going to be standing today. The first practice is called orienting. And what we're doing is orienting to our environment. Simply let your eyes follow the room and notice a few things that you see. There's no rush. We're not analyzing anything. We're not judging anything. You're allowing the nervous system to say, okay, I'm here and I'm safe. So name 3 things that you see, 2 things you hear, and 1 thing that you can touch. Now, our second practice is a physiological sigh. So a physiological sigh is we take a deep breath in, then we take a second sip of air at the top, And exhale slowly out through the mouth with a little bit of sound. Okay, so let's try that. Feel the feet on the ground. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Take a sip at the top. Exhale out. Again, inhale. Sip. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Sip. Exhale. Our third technique is diaphragmatic breathing, and we'll do this at a ratio of 4 to 6. So it's a 4 count inhale and a 6 count exhale. When we use diaphragmatic breathing as opposed to short, shallow breathing, which most people do short, shallow breathing, especially when we feel overwhelmed, we feel fear, we feel scared, we're going to breathe short and shallow into the chest. Well, that's going to make us feel more overwhelmed and more afraid. So what we need to do is train ourselves to do diaphragmatic breathing when we're not in a stress state. So diaphragmatic breathing, the diaphragm is a muscle that runs deep to the rib cage. As the lungs fill up with air, while we're breathing in, we want the back of the rib cage to fill up with air too. So the back of the ribs, think of the lungs as like this 360 going wide. The diaphragm pushes down to make more space for the lungs to expand. And when it pushes down, it puts pressure on the digestive organs. It lets the vagus nerve know that, okay, whoa, I'm safe. So it sends the message to the brain really quickly that I'm safe. Now, how do we know if we're diaphragmatic breathing or not? If your breath is up here. And usually you can tell when someone has short, shallow breath because they'll have a relatively high-pitched voice as well. So you might notice that. If you notice that in yourself or in someone else, you can hear stress, right, in another person's voice. That's because they're not bringing in enough oxygen. They're keeping it all tight up here when really we want to get nice and low. So diaphragmatic breathing, we're going to breathe here into the belly. The ribs will expand second. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. Let's try that again. So if you're not feeling your hands down here move, unbutton the pants, let it go a little bit, and exhale out for 6 counts. The longer exhalation helps signal the body and the nervous system that we're safe. Okay, third technique is grounding, and I love grounding. So with grounding, if you're outside too, get outside, go get in the grass, wiggle your toes in the grass. That just feels so good. But grounding is getting in touch with Mother Earth. It's feeling your feet on the ground. Imagine yourself like a tree, and we've got these roots that are strong, and they go deep down into the earth. And then from the earth energy, feel it coming up through your feet, this grounding, stable, steady, rooted earth energy. It comes up through the feet and we start to fill our bodies up. And that's all it takes. And say, I am grounded. I am grounded. Grounding also requires us to be still. So we stop running around like a chicken with our head cut off and simply say, I am here. I am grounded. I do this every single morning when I brush my teeth. I am grounded, I am grateful, I am guided. That's my mantra. I am grounded, I am grateful, I am guided. Nature is incredibly healing for the nervous system. So that's what we're doing is we're inviting in nature energy to help us heal. Doesn't that feel good? It's one of my favorites. Okay. Now, self-touch. Self-touch, it can be an incredibly regulating practice. I mean, if you think about like the touch of a mother and a baby, right? This touch, skin to skin contact is incredibly supportive. It can feel warm. It can feel like a big hug and give you a sense of reassurance. Now, there are lots of ways to use self-touch. I like hands on the chest, hands on the belly. Give yourself a big giant squeeze. That one might be really good. Put your hands into the thighs or even pressing straight down from the thighs to the knees. This is like a leg havening technique. You can do havening up here. Any kind of self-touch. I'm also like a fan of even just putting my hands right underneath my chin and kind of like holding myself like this. I do it with a blanket too or something, but this kind of a self-touch, anything that's going to feel reassuring and feel calm for you. You can even train yourself as an anchor to do some kind of grounding touch like this. And how that looks is you bring yourself into a relaxed state. You can use one of the other practices to bring yourself into homeostasis. And then you're training. Bring your thumb across, wrap your forefingers around in the left hand. Go, oh, this is it. I'm grounded. Like this is it. This is my signal to myself. I'm stable. I'm calm. I'm safe. I got this. So we train ourselves. We bring ourselves to the state, and then you bring the self-touch. You're anchor it. You're creating this as an anchor and go, okay, I'm here. I got this. I got this. I'm grounded. I got this, right? So we practice it over and over and over, and then that allows us to change our state really quickly. As soon as we notice that we've gone over into fight or flight, we can bring ourselves back into parasympathetic activity or into rest and digest activity simply with a touch. But the more often we practice it, the faster that switch can be. So if this helped you even a little bit to feel more grounded, to feel more safe, to feel more steady, come back to this video anytime you need a reset. These practices are simple. Of course, that doesn't make them easy and it doesn't make them insignificant. Your nervous system is always listening. And every single time you practice, you're breathing, you practice grounding, you practice reconnecting with the body, you're training yourself toward greater steadiness, resilience, and self-awareness. So little by little, practice by practice, we start to feel more at home in our bodies. Thank you so much for being here. And if you like more mind-body practices for stress relief, nervous system health, mindful movement, and whole human health, make sure to subscribe. I am so glad that you are here.